And
Yeah,
if I can add on that, as being in the front line as a acquisition manager, I'm dealing direct with the sellers, right? And they're putting their faith and their confidence in me that I'm not going to leave them in a more worse position than they already are. You know, every deal is unique. Every seller is unique. Everybody has a different problem. Everybody has a different end goal. But the main goal is to move the property at the end of the day. And I find in this industry, a lot of people do a disservice of not treating the customers correctly. As far as, you know, you have to understand these are people that are having big problems, and having a strong disposition team with Josh there. I mean, we are literally able to have so much confidence talking to the sellers, because I'm like, hey, if we can come to these terms and conditions and everything like that, I know my team can get it done.
Man, I love that. And that's something, even when I was coaching and with our own team in-house, that was what I would tell them. Like, these are real people, right? Like, I know as investors, we do so many deals. You guys are doing a ton of deals. Like, it's easy to get a little cavalier, right? Like, oh, it's just another deal. It's another 30,000. But these are real people, right, Drew? When you're talking to them on the phone, telling them you're going to solve their problem, like, they are in their mind like, oh my God, this thing that's been keeping me up at night for the last 5 months, finally, Drew's going to come in and his team are going to solve it. So it's important, right? It's really important that Josh can get those deals closed, but, you know, that you're giving them a real number that can, you know, kind of work its way all the way through and get closed.
And on that, like with Drew, something he does really good, and I think people can get lazy, especially with all the technology we have. It's easy to send texts and emails. The text is to hook some of them, right?
Right.
But like, these things have to be said on the phone, because like, if somebody's going to lose their house, Drew gets on the phone and he has good tonality. Like, you can't be like, yeah, I just want to buy your house. It doesn't matter. Like, you know, he gets on, he listens to them, lets them talk. Cause you know, sometimes they just need to vent about it. Let them know you can help them to a solution. He does really good at getting their trust, because that's what we need to move it. And I think a lot of people just glance over that.
Like, I mean, you know, I went to a marketing course probably 20 years ago, and you know, that was one of the things that they said, like, you can go up on the roof of a building and shoot a slingshot, half-mile circle. You will hit somebody that's losing sleep about their house tonight, right? Whether it's they have a problem or the house has a problem, but something about it is keeping them up at night. And the important thing in acquisitions is making sure that they trust that you're going to solve that problem. Right. That's what keeps them, you know, in the deal all the way to the end, and make sure that they don't ghost out on you.
I really feel like I'm a therapist at the end of the day. Half the time.
Yeah. Well, and looking at you two guys are at the bottom of my screen. So like Drew, you know, on acquisitions, I feel like you have to have a higher empathy, right? Like, hi, Mrs. Smith, your husband passed away. I'm really, you know, it's that, right? You're definitely dealing with more of the problems. Whereas Josh, on your side, it's just, you know, it's kind of that tug of war with buyers all the time. Cause I get it, right? Buyers, we're all investors. We all want it for the cheapest price. So you've got to fight back on that and really, you know, talk about how they're going to make money and why it's a good deal for them. So while, you know, both important, really two different skill sets.
Right. And with dispositions, I think having a really good background in sales and like training in it helps a ton. Cause like I have a process that I followed when I actually did sales for Flip Secrets, which, you know, we came from. It's the same process, you know, it's figuring out the problem, you know, what needs to happen to find a deal. And I'm going to figure out what they need. I'm like, if you had to buy it today, let me know where we're at. Because then at least I can take those offers, and then that's where Grant comes in. You know, he goes out and he'll work the other end of the deal. So even if we only make maybe 5 or 10, he can work the other side, and we end up making 15, 20. So it's really a great system, I think, between all of us that we got hammered out.
Yeah, I think what you said is important, you know, talking about pain points and what they really need, because buyers have pain points too, right? It's not just sellers. I remember when I was rehabbing 5 or 6 properties a month, like, man, I had a crew. I had to keep that crew busy, right? Like that became my pain point, because I knew if I lost them to you guys, I'd never get them back.